most of the slamming force. And the screen is still in one piece. Of course, the phone is meant to fold inwards. Samsung said it would survive 200,000 times, which is 182 times a day if you plan on keeping your phone for 3 years. Bending back the opposite direction, though, is a different story. With the first flex, we get a small separation of the frame near the antenna line, and the top half bumper started coming loose. But the screen of the Z Flip is still entirely intact and in one piece. It still shuts and opens with no grinding of the hinge. We'll try it again. You can see the back panels of the phone meet in the center, providing more support to keep the phone from bending backwards. And the phone hinge does a really good job of keeping the phone shape for the most part. Only on our third bend did we finally hear a snap from the frame near that power button. And even then, the so-called glass screen of the Z Flip is still intact. Folding screens are pretty resilient. Even though the phone doesn't really shut quite right anymore, it's physically withstanding quite a bit more abuse than I initially thought it could. Only now, after all its previous bends and cracks, does the back panel shatter. It's only a cosmetic wound since the display is still working just fine, and this is good to know. All the important things are still functional. You might be asking, hey Jerry, what if there is a super thin nano layer of glass on top of the display? If that were true, we would start to see fractures and cracks from that nano layer, but instead we only see the tip of my Mozpix cutting into the plastic, like we would see with any piece of plastic that gets cut. This screen is in no way scratch resistant whatsoever, and if poked hard enough, the pixels will still get damaged. It does survive my bend test, however. Everything is still functional. This is certainly the most durable folding phone we've seen yet. Samsung did say that they designed this new hinge with little tiny fibers inside, or little brushes, to keep out dust and dirt from the folding bits. It'll be awesome to see what this looks like from the inside during the teardown, so make sure you're subscribed for that. After pouring my rocks on the screen and making sure they cover the entire phone, just like it would if you dropped it when you accidentally go outside, initially I could hear a few little complaints of the dust inside the hinge. But after blowing all the dust off, those complaints mostly went away. This new hinge design might actually be the start to something really good. But the real danger of calling something glass means that people will think they have the protection of glass when that clearly is not the case. Glass distributes pressure along the whole phone, while this plastic allows that pressure to get in and damage pixels. You can see that each pressure point from my pick kills the line of pixels directly above it. This would not happen if the screen were glass, and it's dangerous to let people walk around with that false sense of security, like Samsung gives them when they call it glass. And that's not all. Each of these puncture wounds does let air get inside the sealed OLED layers, which kills even more pixels. A puncture or cut in the plastic screen is a cancer that'll eventually spread across the whole display. Yeah, I sound a bit apocalyptic, but it's important to know what your phone is capable of and what might damage it. So remember, the Samsung Z Flip does not have a true glass screen, and it's still very fragile. That being said, it's also still pretty awesome. Samsung should just correct their verbiage. Let me know what you think of Samsung's verbiage down in the comments. If you enjoyed this durability test, come check out my last video where we modded a normal wheelchair to go on a safari in Africa. It turned out pretty cool. Come hang out with me on Instagram and Twitter, and thanks a ton for watching. I'll see you around.